Well, hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another one. What I'm looking at is a beer from Spyglass Brewing Company out of Nashua, New Hampshire. This is the Vertex. It is a maple, cinnamon, vanilla, milk stout, clocking in at 8% alcohol by volume. Spyglass makes some incredible beers. They make world-class, juicy IPAs. Really good sours. I've only had a few of their stouts, and they've been pretty good. So I'm pretty excited to try this. And one of the reasons I wanted to try this today was because a few hours ago, I drank this. The Founder's French Toast Bastard Bourbon Barrel Aged Scotch Ale. And vanilla, cinnamon, and maple are in this beer. Maple, cinnamon, vanilla. So I wanted to compare. This is not barrel aged or anything like that, but similar flavors, definitely with the additives in this beer. So I wanted to see how this compared to the French Toast Bastard. That may not be a fair comparison, but hey, Spyglass makes awesome beer. I have high hopes for this. So anyway, let's go ahead and pour it up and give it a try. So this is a stout. The Founder's was a Scotch ale. So this is already looking a lot thicker, darker. It's a nice, I would say, jet black appearance, about a 2-finger, creamy looking, dark tan, bordering on beige head. Looks like a great stout. The aroma, all right, yeah, completely different beer. Doesn't smell like French toast at all. Getting a little bit of that cinnamon, maybe a slight vanilla. I'm not getting a ton of maple on the nose. I will say, though, right up front, the roasted malt is the star of the show with this. Very roasty, toasty, bready on the nose. Smells like dark toasted bread. A little bit of cinnamon. Some dark chocolate coming through. There's a sweetness there. It's probably the maple, but it's hard to really narrow it down just based off of the aroma. So I'm hoping that on the palate, the maple comes through a little bit more, because I'm really not getting a ton on the nose. No alcohol presence on the aroma. It just smells like a really roasty, toasty type of beer with a little bit of like added sweetness. It smells good. So without further ado, let's get into this brew. Cheers. The maple's coming through on the palate, definitely. The vanilla as well. There's some dark chocolate notes. The cinnamon is there. Leads into a nice dark toasted bread note in the middle of the sip. It's not burnt, but it's very, very roasty. You get a little bit of like an astringent note from the intensity of the roast. That sweetness is building too from the cinnamon. It's almost like a cinnamon sugar. It's a cinnamon sugar effect. And that's probably the combination of the cinnamon and the maple. It's very sweet. It's also very roasty, toasty. You get almost like a coffee note from the intensity of the roast on the back end. The body with this one is high medium. It's bordering on heavy. It's not thick and viscous, though. It's not super syrupy, which sometimes can be the case anytime you see maple or maple syrup on labels. That's always a concern for me anyway, because I don't really like really thick, viscous stouts. I like a lot of body with my stouts, but I don't like the thick, syrupy effect that you sometimes get, especially when they start adding stuff like maple syrup or maple. This is really enjoyable. The sweetness is building, though. However, because of the intensity of the roasted malt, it's balanced. It works nicely. But this is like a one and done for sure. This is into the night type of beer because it is sweet and it is high medium, bordering on a heavy body. The alcohol's masked well. There's no alcohol presence at all. I like this because it doesn't lose the stout effect with all of the additives in there. It still has that really great base, that roasted malt, toasted bread, and dark chocolate notes that you get from pretty much any good stout because of that roasted barley malt. It's very nice. It's balanced between the malts, the additives that are in the beer, a little bit of bitterness, probably from mostly from the roasted malt, but possibly from the hops as well. But there's no distinguishable hop notes, no specific hop notes that I can detect, like, ooh, there's a nice earthy hop note with this, or there's a citrus or a hop bitterness that is detectable on the back end. It's hard to really narrow that down or pinpoint what hops they use and what effect that has on the beer. I think the bitterness that I'm getting is from the roasted malt. That little bit of astringency is coming from the intensity of the roasted malt. But for the most part, this is a malt-forward beer. There's really not any bitterness to speak of, just a little bit on the back end. Very malty, very sweet, very roasty, toasty, bready. A very nice beer from Spyglass. Very smooth and easy drinking, like I said, at 8%. There's no alcohol presence. I'm going to give this one a 94 out of 100. It's a pretty solid A stout. The maple, the cinnamon, the vanilla, they're coming through. They're not too in your face. They're balanced with the other flavors in the beer, that nice roasted malt character, as I've already mentioned. It's really a nicely balanced beer. Not my favorite. It's been spoiled on a lot of these barrel-aged beers lately, but I think for what they're doing with this and the flavors that they put in this beer, I think they all come through, and the roasted malt character is really, really nice with this one. So 94 out of 100 for the Vertex Maple Cinnamon Vanilla Milk Stout from Spyglass Brewing Company out of Nashua, New Hampshire. Definitely worth a try, so buy it, try it, let me know what you think in the comments below. That'll do it for this beer review, guys. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, and until next time, everybody, cheers.